a message today out of John chapter 6. Starting in verse 24. We're finding Jesus. John, the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 24. Starting in verse 24. And when the people, therefore, saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum seeking for Jesus. We're going to stop right there because it's easy to treat that as transitional and move on. But there's a whole message there. Jesus wasn't there and his disciples weren't there, so they followed after him. They tracked him down in Capernaum looking for Jesus. You know, in most cases you think, oh, well, they're looking for Jesus, that's a good thing. But that's not really the issue. Not the issue. The fact that they're looking for Jesus isn't the issue. Why are they looking for Jesus? That's the issue. The very fact that they lost track of Jesus and his disciples tells you something. You see, the disciples knew where Jesus was. They had a relationship with him. When Jesus moved, they moved. But these people didn't have a relationship. They were seeking what they could get from Jesus as opposed to seeking Jesus. So when Jesus moved, they didn't pay attention. Oh, Jesus is gone. How'd that happen? I know a lot of Christians just like, but I know where God is. Things are happy now, and I don't know where God is. Well, that's because you weren't in contact with him in the first place. The disciples knew exactly where he was because they have a relationship. Now, if you don't know where Jesus is, it's because you have a problem with your relationship. My wife always knows where I am. I always know where my wife is because we have a relationship. When you lose track of people, it's because really there's no relationship or there's a minimal relationship there. We know that in the natural, but it's also true in the spiritual. It's interesting because, you know, even in the church, people come and go. It's not so much that they leave. It's the fact that Jesus has went on and they're not prepared to go. It's much like the church is a bus and it's moving and people get on and people get off. When they get off, yeah, they're leaving the bus all right, but the bus keeps moving ahead. See, for me, well, of course I like to preach to more people than less people. But if you'll notice, my message never changes. Because it's not about me giving a better message because there's more people here, or not giving quite a good message because there weren't. You don't get less because there's less people here. Because for me, it's about preaching the word. Well, whoever's leading the parade doesn't worry about who's behind them. They're leading the parade. They're going someplace. And so the people that are following trust that the person who's leading the parade knows where they're going. And so that's really what it's about. I know where God is taking me. And whoever decides they want to follow that vision is free to do so. But you're also free to not follow that vision. I don't have a problem with that. But I articulate where I'm going so that you can decide for yourself. If you didn't know where I was going, I would say you'd be in deep trouble. And so I always encourage the questions, just like Jesus did. So the important question here is, do you know where I'm going? And is that where you want to go? Do you have a relationship so that if things change, and it's not about me, do you have a relationship with Jesus? We encourage you to have a relationship with Jesus because, you know what, I'm a person and I can fail you, but God will never fail you.
Amen.
Jesus Christ can never fail. That's why my wife and I encourage you in terms of your relationship with Jesus Christ. Amen. We're not trying to get you bonded to us. Amen. We want to get you bonded to Jesus because Jesus continues to move.
Amen.
I'm following that vision, and if you have a relationship with Jesus, it's not about following me. It's about following Jesus. So when things are happening in your life, you say, where is Jesus? If you're asking yourself, where is Jesus, it's because you're not interested in a relationship. You're interested in what you can get from Jesus. Because if you have a relationship, there's no question you know where Jesus is. In fact, it says in the Old Testament, never mind the New Testament, he says, I dwell in the thick darkness. God says, I dwell in the thick darkness. Why? Because that's where most of us are. We, spiritually, most people don't know where they're going or how they're getting there. They don't know where they came from, they don't know where they're going, they don't know where they are right now. So we don't have to find our way out. All we got to do is find Jesus in the midst of that darkness, and he'll lead us out. That's a beautiful thing. Where is he? He's right in the middle of it, in the midst of the thick darkness. You don't even have to look for him. You can't see him anyway. You'll stumble into him, one way or the other. Are you looking for Jesus, or are you looking for what he's got for you? Verse 25, and when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither? When did you come here? That's kind of a crazy question when you think about it. If you're coming to Jesus and you want something, why are you asking him, when did you come here? That's a bit of useless information. When he got there is irrelevant, because he's there now and so are you. When he got there is irrelevant. How he got there is irrelevant. How you got there is irrelevant. What is relevant? He's there and you're there. Now, why do they ask a stupid question like that? Because it reveals where they're at. It's about understanding. People want to understand. Why? Because they want to control. Okay, it's real simple. So they're asking him a stupid question. When did you come here? Like that's going to satisfy something intellectual, but it's not going to satisfy them spiritually. There's no nutritive value spiritually in knowing that question. When did you come here? You get nothing out of it. It appeals to the intellect, and in that sense, it appeals to the flesh, but it doesn't add anything to you spiritually. And then, in fact, it detracts from the real issue. Why are you there? Not when did you come? They're not focused on why they're there, they're focused on when Jesus got there. Useless. And it detracts from the real issue. Why are you there? What do you want from Jesus? But we do that. We end up wasting our time and diverting from the real issue because we want to indulge the flesh. Rabbi, when camest thou hither? And Jesus, he doesn't address that question. He addresses the real issue. Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me, not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Ooh! That hurt. No, I came for the miracles. No. We don't go to Jesus for the miracles. We go to him for the bread. Still today. What are you talking about? Well, we're not really looking for miracles. We expect to have to work for what we get. We don't expect God to heal us. We expect to go to a doctor to fix. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with doctors. God heals through doctors as well. But are we looking to the doctor, or are we looking to Jesus through the doctor?
Amen.
Are we trusting it? Because doctors make mistakes too. But they bury their problems. Don't be trusting the doctor. Be trusting Jesus to work through the doctor. And then you'll be all right. Because the best of doctors make mistakes. And you don't want to be that mistake. So, you don't know. You know, when you're out, you don't know what's going on. Who's going to protect you? Jesus, that's who's going to protect you.
Amen.
Same thing with your accountant. Same thing with your attorney. It doesn't matter what. Same thing with your boss. You better trust all those people into God's hands. You better trust God in them. It doesn't matter the most heathen boss, the most heathen attorney, doctor, lawyer. It doesn't matter. God can work and will work through them. But it's about trusting God in them. Trusting God to work through them and with them. You seek me not because you saw the miracles. It's like, no, because you see, when you trust God for a miracle, you're actually trusting him to be God. Do you really accept him as God? Do you want him to be God? Do you expect miracles from him, or do you expect, well, if I work really hard,